Hello there, what is going on, everyone? We're going to be talking about Star Wars Legion and their mounted heroes that are in the pipeline. This is a very exciting detail that was spoiled at Mini-Stravaganza at the end of the Star Wars Legion presentation and their roadmap for future things to come. We have got a lot to talk about in today's video. We're going to talk about the different mounted commanders that were confirmed, mounted heroes that were confirmed, things from the artwork that were spoiled, as well as future directions that this could take. And I want to hear from you guys on what mounted heroes and mounted options you want to see in Star Wars Legion and that you think are likely to actually come. I'll be happy to share with you some of my thoughts and where this could lead in this video. Make sure you are entered to win that $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Definitely let me know what you want to see in Legion, and let's keep that discussion going. Plus, you can join our Discord and check the other links in the video description below. So, as you can see on the graphic above, we're looking at Han and Luke. Now, this is an official graphic that was spoiled from Atomic Mass Games during Mini-Stravaganza. These guys are coming, and they will be also usable in the Echo-based Defenders, which tells us a whole lot. It means that not only are they thinking about mounted heroes, but they're also thinking about expanding things that can go into existing battle forces, and that's a pretty exciting detail. Han and Luke here in their Echo garb. This does remind me a little bit of the mounted heroes that they had in a game called Rune Wars Miniatures game, which allowed a mounted character to kind of dismount, and so you could have like potentially Luke maybe get off and then get back on, or something like that. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't know if they're going to take a mounted Luke and say, hey, you can get off and then be on foot, or if they're just going to have it. No, you just play as Luke on the Tauntaun, and when he's defeated, he's defeated. It'd probably be easier rules-wise to treat a mounted character as though they're somebody who is permanently mounted for this whole battle. I think that would, rules-wise, that would probably be the easiest. You could allow them to dismount, but if you wanted to allow them to be able to dismount and then remount, that could be problematic. It might be kind of clumsy with the rules. It could be harder to do. If you're going to allow them to dismount at all, I would say once you dismount, then you're done, and then you like flip the card or something like that. That could be a possibility. Could be. They also spoiled General Grievous coming in his big old cycle here. I'd love these things. I used to have a G.I. Joe kind of unicycle thing that was kind of like this, that your character kind of went in when I was very young. I know when I saw this, it always reminded me of that. But in this one is a little bit less common. I think we could definitely expect Tauntauns with Luke and Han on there, but like having General Grievous in this is a little bit of a deeper cut, which I thought was pretty cool. But if we expand the artwork a little bit, we can see that there's also Magna Guards that were originally part of the original artwork, which I think is really interesting. This doesn't necessarily mean that Magna Guards are coming, because again, with the announcement, it was just this art piece, but this is part of the full art piece, which means this was probably commissioned. And I do think it's possible that we could get more mounted characters beyond just heroes. I don't think all mounted characters need to be heroes, because we already have mounted characters that aren't heroes. For example, our speeder bikes are examples of characters that are mounted, and they're permanently mounted. You don't have your scout troopers get off of there. So if we were to get Luke and Leia on speeder bikes like you have in Return of the Jedi, then perhaps it'd be another way to get Luke on the board and another way to get Leia on the board, and maybe they don't get off their speeder bikes. Maybe they stay mounted the whole game. And wouldn't that be kind of cool to have Luke and Leia on a speeder bike? I think it'd be really fun. It'd be a fun thing to do. Of course, we've got to talk about Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan kind of rides everything. I mean, there was definitely some mounted stuff in Episode 2 in the Battle of Geonosis, but I mean, I think he's most notable for riding the Varactyl in Episode 3. With that really weird, awesome sound that it made. We also see Obi-Wan riding the Aope and the Kenobi series. He's definitely in tune with animals, and he rides animals all the time. But this is, I think, if we're going to get Obi-Wan riding anything, my money would be on the Varactyl first and foremost. We also have Anakin from Episode 2. That is a little iconic of him riding that swoop bike. I think that could be this could serve double duty. What I like about this version of Anakin is that it could potentially give you a mounted Anakin, but it could also give you the younger version of Anakin, like not the episode 3, super badass version of Anakin Skywalker, but maybe Anakin who's still a Padawan. Who's strong and very capable, but still a Padawan. Maybe an Anakin as an operative in this case. Maybe he's not a commander. Maybe he's an operative here if we get mounted episode 2 Anakin. That's a thought. That's a thought of mine. And we see other swoop bikes too. We see a lot of swoop bikes and similar types of things in The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, between the scooter gang, and then of course with Mando is on a swoop when he goes to Tatooine. He meets up with Cobb Vanth, who has a really cool custom speeder that looks like it was made from Anakin's old pod. There's all kinds of really cool things that we're seeing in Mandalorian that could easily factor into something like this. But I think it also goes into the Clone Wars era, if we want kind of cross-stitching from Mandalorian with blurgs. I think blurgs should easily show up in the game. You can do a lot of the stuff from Ryloth, you can do Cham Syndulla and a lot of other folks if you want to have a blurg army. I think that really works out well, and it's very kind of iconic between both the Clone Wars and with Mandalorian. I think it very much works. If we're cutting back to episode 2, and also another way to expand on battle forces, there were Geonosians that were mounted that were kind of prodding the Nexu and stuff like that to get them to go out and start the Battle of Geonosis. I think you could do these guys. I think it definitely works. They're not super iconic, but it's another way to get canon Geonosians on the board and a different type. If you're getting this mounted guy, he might be a support. If you're looking to eventually do an all Geonosian battle force, it might be one reason why. They've already confirmed the Geonosian battle force was coming, but it's long overdue, and maybe this is one of those reasons. Maybe they wanted to have a little bit more specifically for it, and they don't have it ready yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get something like this in the Geonosian battle force. If we want to take a bit of a cut into Solo, a Star Wars story, I think that is a movie that gives us a ton of mounted options. If we want to go for a young Han Solo, you've got all kinds of hot rod and stuff. You got that kind of American Graffiti kind of moment in Solo. You've got all these stormtroopers with their transports. You've got the gang with their transport, the stormtrooper cops on those bikes, like basically motorcycle cops, like very, very cool. But probably the best thing, if we're looking for mounted heroes out of Solo, a Star Wars story, it would probably be Enfys Nest and her Marauders. I mean, come on. This is, first off, it's right up AMG's alley. It would be an amazing miniature just to do Enfys Nest anyway. And I figure I could see Enfys Nest as a 2-part character, like Enfys Nest on foot and then Enfys Nest mounted, and then maybe you do a Marauder pack where it's like 2 more of her Marauders mounted or something like that. It would really be super cool. I'd love to see something like this. But I think that probably the best thing that we could get if we started getting more mounted heroes would be Boba Fett riding a Rancor. I don't know if they'll do this. This might be, the scale of it might be a little bit much. And it definitely wouldn't be a speeder. It wouldn't necessarily be somebody that goes super fast, but I don't think a Rancor has to go super fast to be awesome. And I think this would be a really fun miniature to do. It'd be a really fun model to do. It'd lead to a lot of really cool dioramas, and it could have a massively cool social media presence. I love this option, and I think it would be a really fun thing to do. I hope you guys agree with me. Matter of fact, the only thing that could be more over the top is if we did something truly wizard and had pod racing. What do you think of that? Of course, I had to end the video on something a little bit of a joke, but I mean, while it does sound like a joke, if mounted characters did start to get more and more faster characters in there, it could lead to like an alternate game mode, something that people play at conventions, and that might actually lead the way towards pod racing potentially becoming a thing, although I don't expect anything like that to immediately show up. But wouldn't that be interesting to have a pod? I mean, there's miniatures games that do racing and stuff. Wouldn't it be interesting if they did pods? I think we could have a lot of fun with that. I don't know. It could be fun. But as far as the real stuff, I want to hear what you guys think you want to see for Star Wars Legion. And if you want, let me know your thoughts on pod racing as well. It'd be pretty cool. And if it happens, I'm going to say it's working. No, maybe not. Maybe. It depends how the dice roll. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I will talk to you later. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are out of this world and help make this whole channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all. and always wash your socks.